Hi there and welcome to the We Are Change talk show. I thank you for joining me. We have a great show for you today. Our guest is Wayne Glew from the Great Australian Party. He's been under attack from the government. They've tried to claim his house. He suffered pure devastation at the hands of the government, and you've been suffering ever since, haven't you?
Well, they tried to take my home. I've taken it back. And there's laws called remitter laws. He who holds the original title owns the land. They can't get that off me without a court case.
Mm-hmm.
They've tried twice to drag me before the court. Both times I defeated them. Then they tried to circumvent the court using the Local Government Act, but they had no ruling on the value of the rates or whether I actually owed them, so they can't do what they've done. We're in the middle of a discussion with our land gate to basically tell them, pull your head in and take the new title off because I still hold the original one.
So you're currently in the midst of the battle now?
Yes, that's going on. They had till last Friday to answer. They haven't yet, but that's not unusual. It's a government department. It could take weeks, but we did interview them last week on video, my wife and I, and we got all the evidence we need to bring them to court and get a conviction for conspiracy to pervert the course of justice.
Because that's what's happening. A lot of members of the public are saying that taxation is theft and they have no right to request rates on a home that you own. Now, how long has this battle been in the process?
Almost 17 years. I haven't paid them a cent. I'm not going to. I went to the first referendum in 1974. I voted no. So did all the Australians, majority. 1988, we voted no. 1999, we voted no to COAG, which included local government. So there's your three referendums. You can't have it. All they need to do now is go and get a dictionary and look up the word no. It can't be too hard. It is N-O. Can they spell that? I don't know. Obviously, they think N-O means yes. Maybe they're ambidextrous and can't get their head around that word. But at the end of the day, no means you can't have local government and you're not having it. Get a life.
And they haven't been willing to compromise or negotiate. You've been very stubborn too and not paying, and that's very good. You've held your ground. And if more Australians did that, then maybe they'd be able to abolish these taxes, wouldn't they, Wayne?
Yeah, they would. Unfortunately, you run into brick walls. It's called bigoted, biased, bent courts. Well, I worked amongst them for 17 years in the police force, and I saw they're the criminals, along with the clowns sitting in our parliament. So now I'm going to join the clowns and kick them in the head from the top. I'm running for the Senate in the Great Australian Party. I've been nominated. You blokes vote me in. You're going to get somebody who's going to fight harder than most people.
Well done, full praise.
We're going to defeat them, believe me.
That's very honourable. And to combat them in a political way, that is the logical matter and the way to take it on board, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right. I'm going to use the Commonwealth Constitution Act 1900 UK and our Commonwealth Constitution and all the common law that goes with it. We, the people, are sovereign and supreme in this country. They, the government, serve us, not the other way around. It's time they woke up to that fact.
So what sort of correspondence have you had with your local council and the government? You've had letters. Have you had any visits?
They took me to court. They lost. They took me to court in August last year, tried to say the only issue was they threw all my stuff out of the house when I wasn't there because I was held out by a family court order, but that doesn't matter. That's been overturned. They threw all my stuff outside on the ground, then wanted me to pay to store it on my land. So they applied to the court. So I turned around and objected to their case on the grounds that they have never lawfully obtained possession of the property, nor can they, without first getting an order from the Supreme Court, which they just ignored. But The magistrate saw through their nonsense and adjourned it for a hearing on the 11th of December. Well, that never happened because it got adjourned till the 22nd of January. Then I found out they actually sold the property. Daughter or granddaughter of a friend of mine is dating one of the sons of the people involved in the sale and distribution of my land. And I discovered they had to buy the land back because they couldn't get a title to it because they had no court order. So then they tried to circumvent that, and the lawyers for the Shire lied to Landgate and signed an affidavit saying they had all the information. Landgate never checked it and still won't. And they transferred the land on the 16th of January before the hearing, which took place on the 22nd. And they actually noted to the Landgate that the issue of ownership was before the court.
So they're flagrantly disregarding the law.
Yeah, totally.
And there's corruption that's rampant, which makes the case even more complicated, doesn't it, Wayne?
Not from my point of view. It's conspiracy to pervert the course of justice, perverting the course of justice, and conspiracy to overturn the Commonwealth Constitution Act 1900 UK and our Constitution on the grounds that the people said no. No means no. You can't have local government. So how can you then still have it and ignore the Constitution? That is treachery. The penalty for that is life imprisonment.
It's very tyrannical. And
of course.
And these laws, there's no merit to them. And what they're doing is people already own their property. They shouldn't have to pay an ongoing fee for the land, which is theirs. It's a title. The property deed is in your name, and that's where it stands. You shouldn't have to pay any money to these politicians or these bureaucrats.
Yeah, but the problem is the title deed is the problem. It isn't a deed. The title, it should be a certificate of title, which I have. That certificate of title is ownership. And what we got out of Landgate and on record is Landgate, which is a registered company, and it's sold to an overseas interest, I believe. They actually, according to them, own your title. And this is where all the trouble is. The government, or supposed government, it is only a parliament, has lied to the people. They've changed our titles from ownership basically to rental. We don't own it. We have all aspects of ownership except for the fact the Crown owns it. But the Crown is the Queen of Australia, not the Crown of England, which is what we're under. And
that's
people
correct.
Need to understand
and a lot of people aren't under that information. It's very ambiguous the way it's written in the legislation. People believe that they own their land. It's a bit like a vehicle as well. The government owns the vehicle and you're registering that to the government. It all goes back to title and the claim. And with the language, they make it very difficult for the common person to decipher that.
Yeah, well, the way I look at it, if you think you own my car, come and try and get it. You think you own my land, come and try and get it. They blocked the gates. I put 2 new gates on the front and locked them. I took them off and chucked them on the side of the road. Within an hour, someone had helped themselves to a new set of gates. Good on them. Welcome to them. They then put eight 2-ton concrete blocks across the drive and drove star pickets through them to lock them down. My mate's 911 loader just picked them up and threw them away like bits of junk.
Good work.
A couple of weeks later, they put another set of gates there and somebody else had them. They're good at distributing free gates to the local population here. I'm very proud of them for doing that, the idiots.
I'm glad you're standing your ground and you're not intimidated by a lot of these actions that they're putting in place, because it's not fair. The stress that you've been put under, all this debt has been accumulating over 17 years, and now they're trying to hit you with the full fee, are they, Wayne?
Yeah, well, they claim I owe them just over $300,000 with costs and court costs and everything else. Well, how do you owe court costs or money claim when the court hasn't dealt with it? And they haven't dealt with it twice. the big problem is all we've got sitting in the council here is a pack of liars. If you don't tell the truth, you're lying. It's as simple as that. And they're lying. They say, you owe this money. No, I don't. No, I don't. Because the people said you can't exist. No, I don't. And they went back a couple of weeks ago and they caved in the tops of the septic tanks and the leach drains. They're real heroes.
So you vacated the premises for a short period. It was only temporary. No. And when you returned, you found your place vandalised, and there'd also been trespassing from government. That's what it came down to, wasn't it?
Well, actually, the government decided that it's a civil matter. So apparently, even though the High Court ruled in HCA 11 of 2015, if you've got an ABN number and you provide services for money, you're a trading company. The Taxation Department decided council's a trading company. The Fair Work Act, Section 35, says if you've got an ABN number and you employ people, you're a company. So by having them classed as a civil matter, look at that, they're a company. So that company is committing serious crimes on my property. I couldn't go there because of family law issues, and that's all sorted now. I am in a position to move there, but there's nothing to move to. They've destroyed it. They've taken everything off my property. They stole a 1975 F-250, which had the chassis fully restored. It's worth about $4,500, the chassis.
Heartbreaking what they've done.
Oh, look, I don't get stressed, and value of property is nothing unless you worry about it. I couldn't care less. They're just not having my land. They just don't get it. I'm not under stress. The only stress is what's coming on them.
I like how you've been very staunch and you're not buckling under the pressure, because that's what they're hoping that you will do.
Well, they may as well laugh in their own face, look in the mirror and laugh at each other because they're idiots. I don't buckle under anything, especially not pressure from idiots. I know I'm right. At the end of the day, I don't care if they pull my shed down to clean the block off. That's fine. Doing a good job. They cleaned it all up. Aren't they nice little people? Because at the end of the day, I'm going to take everything off them. I will rebuild the shed at their expense. I will replace everything on the property at their expense.
It's very intrusive when your privacy has been breached. It's the last thing that anybody needs.
And as for politicians, I've been to most of them. Most of them say, yeah, they can't do that. They can't do that. Why you take it to court? It's been to court. Court won't even look at it. They're not interested. As far as the courts go, if the government passes an act or statute, not a law, because they never sign off on by the governor, they pass acts and statutes. And those acts and statutes, when you look at Section 51, subsection 39, it says they're not law.
That sound goes.
Yep. It says they're actually not law until such time as they comply with the Constitution. And obviously they don't when the people say no. So the magistrates and judges sit there and tell lies. And they do literally lie.
It's corrupt inside out, isn't it?
Oh, it's corrupt from one end to the other. So how do you get rid of corruption? You rise above it and put your foot in the head and grind it into the dirt, which is what I'm going to do.
Exactly. We need more people like yourself standing up for what's right, because they're getting away with murder, aren't they? And how many people are forced into a depression over this sort of stuff?
All the little ones seem to buckle, but we're not going to buckle. If you saw the impassioned story from Rod Cullerton put out yesterday about the corruption in this country, his emotions overcome him because he is totally dedicated to what he's doing. Doesn't matter what he did before or what he did anywhere in his past or what I did or what anybody else did in their past. The past is exactly that. We need to gather together, pick up our socks, get going and fight for this country just like our forefathers did.
Exactly.
A lot of them gave their lives.
And we must judge one's merit on their actions and what they bring forward, you know, because a lot of the trust has been broken from other political parties and groups.
Yeah.
But if we can look at one's actions and if they come through with good intentions, everybody deserves a chance.
Yeah, that's right. Look, all we can say, I actually wrote the oath to be taken, and it's according to our constitution. And if that's the oath every politician is required to take under section 42 of our constitution. I'm 71 years old, and I'm pretty switched on mentally and physically. I'm physically fit. I don't need all this drama in my life, if you could call it that, and all these things.
But of course not.
I just love doing what I'm doing, helping people. And if the government doesn't like that, well, boo-hoo, go cry in your closet and come out with a different point of view. Most of them have got good brains. They just don't use them properly.
That's right.
I think it's wrong that we take these people and throw them in a cage for the rest of their lives. Moreover, put them somewhere where they have to learn the truth, and then they make an informed decision whether they're going to follow it, or they are going to jail.
And when they put through a poll to the people, there's votes. It seems like the public, they're not counted. When people step forward, the legislation gets put through anyway. So we don't have a say. And they use their intelligence for a sinister way, don't they?
Yeah, well, this is it. Look, when the people say no, I think most politicians see the word NO as YES. They need to either get glasses, clear the crap out of their eyes, wake up to the point when people say no, it means you can't do it. It doesn't mean yes, you can. It means no.
And it's our moral obligation to stand up against tyrannical laws.
That's right.
We need a radical overhaul of the current system for the future generations to come, so they don't end up in this turmoil like yourself, Wayne.
Yeah.
You know, how many more people have to lose their house to criminal governments?
Thousands, unfortunately, thousands.
There's a definite reason not to pay taxes if all our land is being off-sold to foreign powers, isn't it, Wayne?
Well, see, yeah, that's right. The whole idea of us going into Parliament, or me in particular, is so we can take control of our Parliament, our government, our country, for everybody. Doesn't matter what colour you are, when you were born, where you were born, you're here, you can't go back to it. Time to wake up, work together, respect the people that were here prior to us and their rights, and go back. And once we form a correct government under the correct constitution, all these foreign ownership of land, they take what we give them to get it back, because they're not going to have it. It's ours. You're out. Goodbye. Stop wasting your money putting it into this country, because we're taking everything off you. Under our constitution, you're not entitled to buy it. Doesn't matter whether it's China, Russia, England, America, or anyone else.
Exactly. And it might be a different story if the politicians actually had the Australian public's best interest at heart and they were operating in an ethical manner, which is far from the case.
Yeah, they have a constitution of their political parties act to remove our constitution, and they're guilty of treachery to overturn the constitution, which the penalty is life imprisonment.
That's what's happening. Say they're committing treason on the highest level. You've researched similar cases where people have challenged the government over property taxes, haven't you, Wayne?
Oh, I've challenged them several times.
And other cases as well? Yep.
Yeah, mainly I assist people in how to do their paperwork. I can't give legal advice. That apparently is unlawful. Well, according to them, I've had quite a bit of extensive lawful training, not legal. Having had to learn the law in the police force, I learned a lot outside of that, and I've studied the Constitution for just under 50 years. I have the original draft copy that went to England.
People should be held accountable. See, and all this legal jargon, it's very hard to get the underlying message the way it's written. It's done that way deliberately to deceive honest members of the public. They try and find answers. Now, you've uncovered a lot of corruption, and you've got a lot of people on your side that are giving you an enormous amount of support. That must give you a lot of confidence in this battle.
Oh, well, I've got inbuilt confidence in what I study and remember, probably because I've got a good memory.
What would be your advice to someone that's thinking of challenging their local council or government in regards to these matters of taxation?
Well, at this time, I've told a lot of people, if you don't have the ability to stand up in court and fight, just pay your rates, whether or not yours, pay the council rates, we'll call it, which is tax, and then get behind people, not necessarily me, every person who is fighting to get rid of it, because it's not going to take stop paying one. Or if you can't get if you've got a whole town to stop paying rates and say, we're not going to do it, and the next one did, and the next one did, and the next one, we would win. But for one or two, no, they're going to use that to take your house.
That's right.
And these lawyers prey on that.
Exactly. See, a couple of people stand up and they like to make an example out of them, like yourself, don't they, Wayne? But hopefully that won't happen.
Well, they don't make an example out of me. They'd like to. They've lost both times. The first case, of course, was Glew versus the Grantham Shire, but I took on board exactly what the three quorum said. They weren't judges, they were unelected judges, people impersonating judges. That's what the word quorum means.
I want to thank you for coming on the program, Wayne. We'll definitely have you on again to give us any further updates on anything that transpires with your current situation. Thank you, Wayne.
Yeah, I just want to say one more thing. Vote Gap or independent. Leave the big parties alone. They're only traitors.
Yeah.
You have a good day.
Beautiful, thank you. Well, that does it for today's show. We have some great guests booked for the future, so be sure to like, share and subscribe because you will not want to miss out. We'll leave you with the new We Are Change commercial. Hope you enjoy it. Are you fed up with the propaganda and deception from mainstream media? Well, you deserve better. That's why the We Are Change talk show is here. I'd like to welcome everybody to the Australia Unite for Children's Rights event. My name's Jeff O'Toole. Have you experienced an injustice or a form of corruption? Well, phone the We Are Change talk show today.
My son has, he contracted Listeria meningitis at birth, but I believe this happened to him intentionally, that somebody actually got to him and poisoned him.
If you could look into the camera and speak to these accusers, what would you say to them?
I'd say to them to actually go and find someone real to go and chase and to leave me alone, because I don't deserve the treatment that I'm getting from you, that's for sure. And you guys should actually be held accountable for the harassment and all the undue stress and money that you have cost me over all this time.
Yeah, I just wanted to thank you for having me on. I really appreciate it. Like you said, I think people need to work together.
A pleasure, brother. Nice to see some voices in Australia doing this sort of thing.
It's a pleasure to be here and certainly appreciate the platform that you've created.
Thank you for having me on. We Are Change has a great reputation, so I'm glad to be on your show. And
Thank you. Thank you for having me, and I appreciate it as well.
Excellent. Good luck.
Thank you for having me, Jeff.
You're welcome.
Thank you for having me, and just, thanks for supporting victims down there.
So don't hesitate. Phone the We Are Change talk show today. The number is on your screen.